Okay, for today's video, we're going to go over the major thing I want the thing I want each major dinosaur figure company to do. And some of these are more extreme than others, ranging from just making one particular figure all the way to making a whole new line of figures. And the companies I'm going to include on this list are 6 different ones, including Safari Ltd, Collecta, Papo, Schleich, Beast of the Mesozoic, and PNSO. There are some other major companies that make dinosaur figures, but these are the 6 I'm mainly collecting right now, and I either own a figure from them or will own one of them in the future for sure. Some other big companies that I really like but aren't including in this list is kind of the Jurassic Park brand figures. Like, I honestly can't even remember if they're Mattel or Hasbro. I think they're Mattel, but I've said this a few times, but I kind of prefer the more accurate dinosaurs, so I don't really care as much what they do. I mean, I'll pick up some figures like the minis and stuff, or the Hammond collection figures. Like the minis, I have said this before, I would love to see in the Jurassic World minis some more of the mini. So I would love to see them make mini sauropods, like a mini Dreadnoughtus, a mini Apatosaurus, or a mini Brachiosaurus. And I would also love to see them do a mini Spinosaurus, but I would rather these other brands do what I want than that to happen. And I can't remember if I said it, but Rebor, I would love to see make some more awesome figures. Rebor is, I don't know. I'll probably get some Rebor figures, especially if they make more of the grab and go figures. I definitely plan on getting a grab and go figure in the future, especially one of the versions of the T-Rex. But I don't own a figure of Rebor, and I don't really plan on getting one right away, so that's why Rebor's not on this list. So we'll get right into the first part right here. Okay, first up we have Schleich. And for Schleich, I just simply want them to step it up. And by this I mean, I know Schleich can be a lot better than they are. And every year they do some figures I really like and some I don't particularly like. But I know they can be a lot better because as far as modern animals, they are right up there with like the other big brands like Safari. So I would personally just like to see them step it up a bit on their prehistoric animal models. And they, like I said, I do really like some of their prehistoric animal models. Like this Baryonyx came out fairly recently, and I really like it. But I would like to see them step it up because, like I said, their modern animal figures are right up there with the other companies. But I do think they could step it up a little on their prehistoric animal models because some are really good, but some are not so good. And this is, like I said, the Schleich Baryonyx. Actually, this is one of the first figures I reviewed. That review is not as similar, almost like a different style of review compared to my newer reviews. But I will put a link to that video. But like I said, my newer reviews are a little bit different style than that review. Next up, we have Collecta. For me, it's really simple. I want to see one of 3 figures, an Albertosaurus, a Gorgosaurus, or a nanuqsaurus. I really like their past Tyrannosaurs, but I would really love to see them do an Albertosaurine Tyrannosaur like Albertosaurus or Gorgosaurus. Albertosaurus being my favorite dinosaur would probably be my preference of the two, but I would be fine with either one. A few of the other bigger companies have recently done Albertosaurines. Papo did Gorgosaurus a few years back. Safari did Albertosaurus this year. So I would really love to see Collecta's interpretation because they've done really good with their past Tyrannosaurs, but they've not done an Albertosaurine yet. And also I would love to see them do a nanuqsaurus because, like I said, their Tyrannosaurs are really good, and we just haven't seen a major company do a nanuqsaurus figure yet. So pretty much any of the companies on this list, I would like to see them do a nanuqsaurus, but since Collecta has a really good past of Tyrannosaurs, I know they would be able to do a nanuqsaurus pretty well. And this is my only Collecta figure currently in my collection. This is the older Mosasaurus. I know they're doing a newer one this year, but I actually think I prefer this old one. But I definitely plan on getting some more Collecta figures. In fact, I'm planning to get some by the end of this year. Okay, I know from the figures featured on the screen right now, you would think that this would be the Safari Ltd segment, but this is actually the PNSO segment. Of the companies on this list, PNSO is the only one I currently don't own a figure of. Beast of the Mesozoic until just recently, Zuniceratops video just recently came out, but until just recently I didn't own a Beast of the Mesozoic figure. But PNSO is probably my favorite company that I don't own a figure of just yet, but I definitely plan to get some by the end of this year. And like I said, at the time of making this video, it's the only company on this list that I don't have a figure of, but I plan on changing that. But I really like PNSO, and I specifically love their hadrosaurs, and I know they love doing Asian dinosaur species, so I would love to see them do a Saurolophus. It's been one of my favorite hadrosaurs ever since watching Chased by Dinosaurs, but I haven't had the pleasure of owning a figure of it. And like I said, though, with PNSO's great history of hadrosaurs and Asian dinosaurs, I would love to see them do a Saurolophus. And the reason why these two figures since I don't have a PNSO figure, obviously I want to do 2 hadrosaurs because Saurolophus is the figure I want to see them make. But I did Parasaurolophus because even though it's not super closely related to Saurolophus like its name might make you believe, whenever I think of either one of the other ones, I think of the other one. So, and the Corythosaurus is because it's very similar to the PNSO figure that I don't have yet, but hopefully plan on getting. And I know they do have a PNSO Corythosaurus, but I'm talking about a different PNSO hadrosaur that's currently out that I have mentioned multiple times that I really like, and it's the Lambeosaurus. That's one of, if I get the first PNSO figure I get, well, that's probably going to be one of the first ones I get, just because I think it's a great figure and it's a great price figure. And hopefully that Saurolophus is that as well, a great figure for a great price. Okay, I just inserted the picture of the Lambeosaurus. That is the PNSO figure that that's probably going to be one of the first PNSO figures I get. And I really love that Lambeosaurus. Definitely will be super excited to finally get that one in hand. And hopefully the Saurolophus, like I said, will be as good as that one. And these 2 figures I did want to mention really quickly. This is the Safari Ltd. Regular line baby Parasaurolophus, and this is the Safari Ltd. Carnegie Collection Corythosaurus. Next up, we have Beast of the Mesozoic. Beast of the Mesozoic has quickly become one of my favorite brands. I really liked it, but after finally getting some figures in hand, it's exceeded all expectations. I didn't even show this figure off well enough in my actual video, like, just the articulation ability. Like, you can literally just get this figure to, like, stand however you want, and it looks so good. You know, it's just crazy to have dinosaur figures that look this good, but have the mobility of this. But for Beast of the Mesozoic, there is one thing I would really love to see. Obviously, with Beast of the Mesozoic currently only having Dromaeosaurs, Tyrannosaurs, and Ceratopsians out, I could obviously say something like Sauropods, or Ornithopods, or Stegosaurs, but I would rather see them do something else. Now, obviously, I do want to see them do that stuff, but instead of just saying one of those as my answer, I would actually rather them do some more of their current dinosaurs, but in different scales. And that's because they kind of have a history of doing this already, because they ended up making 6 figures in the 1/18th scale that were originally only going to be in the 1/6 scale. Or maybe the Ceratopsians weren't originally planned that, but the Dromaeosaurs I know were originally only planned to be in this larger scale, but they ended up making the Raptor, the Velociraptor, and the Dromaeosaurus all in that smaller scale. So hopefully we can get some more figures like that. And like obviously the T-Rex they made a 1/35 scale of. And the subadult Triceratops also, everybody knows it subs well in for the 1/35th scale Triceratops. And the Dromaeosaurs, like I said, are normally 1/6, but they did make some 1/18th. And that Protoceratops and Psittacosaurus, they made the smaller scale versions of. So hopefully we can get some more of the larger dinosaurs in smaller scale. Specifically for me, I would love to see them do Albertosaurus in the 1/35th scale, because Albertosaurus is one of my favorite dinosaurs, probably my favorite. It is my favorite theropod, though, like I said in my top 10 favorite theropods video, which I will put a link to. Kind of a spoiler, I guess, but and then also, I would love to see them do the torosaurus, because I love torosaurus, but specifically I would love to see them do it in the Walking with Dinosaurs color scheme, because we already have the 1/35th scale Walking with Dinosaurs T-Rex, so I would love to see them do a 1/35th scale Walking with Dinosaurs Torosaurus, because right now those figures don't really go that well together because the T-Rex is in such a smaller scale. So hopefully we could either get that T-Rex in the larger color scheme, but what I would personally rather see is them make the Torosaurus in that color scheme smaller to pair with that T-Rex. Next up, we have Papo, and for Papo, it's just go back to the past. And what I mean by that is just go back to doing one of their 2 old model styles. Either do what got Papo dinosaurs popular in the first place, being the great Jurassic Park style figures like this Stegosaurus, or go back to doing what they did a few years ago and do super updated, up-to-date dinosaurs, like as far as science, like their Spinosaurus from a few years back. And this Stegosaurus, I actually realized mine's broken. I don't know how long it's been like this. It might have been like this from the day I got it, but one of the smaller plates right here is missing, so that's kind of unfortunate that I just noticed that, but I guess it is what it is. But I'd be fine if Papo did both of those things as well, doing Jurassic Park style figures and doing just more accurate to science figures. But Papo, we know, can be one of the best companies out there, but lately some of their figures have just been really not it. But they still do make some really good figures, but Papo just needs to get back to what they do best, and that's the really good figures that they used to do. kind of similar to Schleich, how some of their figures right now are good and some aren't, but Papo we know has a really high ceiling. And for the last series, we have Safari Ltd. Probably my personal favorite brand because it was the brand I liked the most when I was younger, and they're super accurate, very well priced. And for two like less extreme ideas, because for most of these I've only said like one certain figure I would like to see them do or something, but there's a whole line of something I would like to see Safari do. But two of the less extreme ideas that I would love to see them do would be to do a nanuqsaurus in the Dino Dana line, or just in the regular line. But I actually really like their the Dino Dana nanuqsaurus, so I'd be very happy if they just made a Dino Dana nanuqsaurus. But also I'd be very happy if Safari just made a nanuqsaurus in the regular line. But I would also love to see them do an Argentinosaurus. It's been a while since a company has made an Argentinosaurus, and I still don't have one. I'll probably pick up that Collecta one if Safari or somebody doesn't make one pretty soon, because I do like the Collecta one, but I would love to see Safari's Argentinosaurus. But with it being my favorite sauropod and us just not having one recently, and Safari not having tackled Argentinosaurus yet, I would love to see Safari do an Argentinosaurus. But the big idea I have that I considered almost making a whole separate video for, and was a big reason why I made this video, is for them to make prehistoric planet model figures. Safari has already had worked with other groups in the past to make some of the best figures. The Dino Dana line, which featured this Nanotyrannus, the Carnegie collection, or the Carnegie Museum, which made this Carnegie collection T-Rex, the Field Museum, which made this Safari Ltd. Field Museum Torosaurus, the regular Safari Ltd. Line, obviously with this Kentrosaurus, which I don't know if I've really showed off a ton, other than just in my regular collection videos, but I really love this Kentrosaurus figure. It's actually kind of hard to get. It used to be a really cheap figure, with it being as small as it is, but it's kind of hard and an expensive figure to get now. But I would love to see them, and like I said, each of those times were great, so I would love to see them work directly with Prehistoric Planet to make models based off that series. Even if they don't do that, I would love to see them just make some of the dinosaurs in that series that just don't have figures yet, specifically nanuqsaurus again. So if you've learned anything from this video, you've learned Jurassic Theropods now really wants a nanuqsaurus, and that's a 100% fact. That's the dinosaur that I want to get a figure made of the most. It's one of my favorite dinosaurs. I think it looks so awesome, really cool. I don't know if we actually have fossil evidence of it having feathers, but being as far north as it was, there's a good chance it had feathers. So I would love to and really to make an nanuqsaurus figure, you wouldn't have to do anything crazy. I mean, it's really just Tyrannosaur body plan, but throw on some feathers. And I would just love to see a company tackle it, especially one of these brands like Safari, Collecta, or even like a PNSO. Safari or Collecta would definitely be my main two, just because, it would be a very affordable figure. But yeah, that's what I would love to see Safari Ltd. do, work with Prehistoric Planet and make a whole new line of figures, because I think it would be amazing. So in conclusion, obviously there's a lot I would like to see each of these companies make. If anybody from any of these companies happens to see this video, I would love if you would take some of my ideas and make them happen. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but obviously I would love to see any of these ideas happen, because I think all these are great ideas. Obviously they're my ideas. And I would love to know what any of your all's ideas are in the comments, because these were just a few of the ideas I had. There's a ton of other cool ideas I had. Maybe I'll make another one of these style videos in the future, especially if one of these figures actually ends up getting made. But we're going to kind of do this as the featured figure section. I know I already kind of went over each of the figures throughout the video, but I'll just do it one more time. And I will say, if any of these figures have individual figure reviews or have a special video, I'll put a link to it. So this is the Carnegie Collection Tyrannosaurus Rex. This is the Safari Ltd. Dino Dana Nanotyrannus. This is the Beast of the Mesozoic Zuniceratops. This is the Safari Ltd. Kentrosaurus. This is the Safari Ltd. Carnegie Collection Corythosaurus. This is the Papo Stegosaurus. This is the Schleich Baryonyx. This is the Collecta Mesozoic. This is the Safari Ltd. Field Museum Torosaurus. And this is the Safari Ltd. Baby Parasaurolophus. Some of these videos I know I'll definitely put in the description. I'll definitely put the review of this Zuniceratops. I'll definitely put the review of this Corythosaurus, the review of the Baryonyx, and the review of the Dino Dana Nanotyrannus. And I'll definitely put a few other videos that had these figures featured. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. And hopefully some of these ideas will come true. And hopefully some of your all's ideas come true as well. So I would love to know what you all would like to see as well in the comments.